Hey, Michael here from Beer Baseball Blog, the adventures of craft beer and baseball. This is the Beer Baseball Blogcast, and we are so privileged today to have a very special guest among us. And I'm going to hold the introduction because we have a lineup card, and we always go through the lineup card. So let's do it right now. First off, Angelo Trinidad. A fun fact, he recorded a song with backing vocals by our interview guest. Angelo, welcome.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Adam. How are you guys?
Oh, wonderful.
Kevin Lyon was supposed to wrestle our interview guest in PWG in 2003, but it was instead pile drived and wrestled a six-man. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm good now. My neck's a little better. It took about 17 years, but I'm doing good.
And I am Michael Mondragon. My fun fact is that I have wrestled our guest 3 times and been pile drived twice in that time. And yes, my neck is still messed up, of course. But of course, I'm talking about Adam Pearce, 5-time NWA heavyweight champion, producer and coach at World Wrestling Entertainment. Adam Pearce, what a pleasure to have you here.
Wait a minute. We wrestled 3 times, but there was only 2 pile drivers. What happened in the third match?
Somebody cleared, I think Hardcore Kid or Alcatraz, power bombed me, I'm sure. So you didn't get to me.
What's up, guys? I'm glad to be here tonight.
Where are you at, Adam?
I am just outside Orlando, Florida.
Fantastic. And how is life down there? I know these are crazy times, but is it business as usual?
Well, I mean, you could say that. I like to say it's more business as unusual. As we all living through this crazy pandemic / everything else that's going on in the last couple of weeks. It's definitely an adjustment period, not just for our profession, but I'm sure you guys have a million stories too. It's a unique time in history, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's kind of we need wrestling, we need baseball, something to take our mind off all this, and we've found a lot of comfort in just doing these weekly shows. So thanks so much for joining us. Now, Adam, when I met you, we all know each other from Southern California wrestling, right after, I would say, like 2000 or so.
Yep.
And I think you had just moved here from Chicago. From Chicago, right?
Yep, Chicago. That would have been, I'm thinking, like right around November-ish of 2000, I think, is when I moved out and was there for, 15 years. I miss it in a lot of ways, too.
Yeah, and you grew up a big Cubs fan. I mean, I knew it because you had a big Cubs jersey when you walked in the door, so there was no mistaking that.
Big time Cubby Blue since day one. Cubs, Bulls, Blackhawks, and then the outlier for me is I'm a Green Bay Packer fan too, but I know this is about baseball, but definitely Cubby Blue. I bleed it still to this day. I'm longing for it.
Right on. And but then who are your favorite players for the Cubs?
Mark Grace, Andre Dawson, Jody Davis, Ryan Sandberg. I was a big Sammy Sosa guy before everything happened with his extracurricular activities. Yeah. And now I love, the current crop of Cubs. Anthony Rizzo is a huge star for my son, especially plays first base and whatnot too. And Chris Bryant, I just, gotta love it. I'm gonna name the whole roster if you let me, but I'm a big Cubs fan.
That's fantastic, and I was just at Wrigley last year. I also went to go see the White Sox and the independent Chicago Dogs. Are you aware of them?
No, tell me.
Yeah, it's right outside O'Hare Airport. I actually have a video on it if you look back in my archives. In fact, I just posted it just this year. And it's an independent team, and their stadium has actually been voted twice by Ballpark Digest as Independent Baseball Stadium of the Year. Awesome. And Carlos Zambrano pitched for them last year. Go figure that out, right? The Big Z. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Exactly. And also, Carlos Zambrano pitched a no-hitter for the Cubs, but actually a home game in Milwaukee because they were displaced, I think.
Right, I remember that. It was during the construction. So, Wrigley Field was undergoing renovation at that point.
Yep.
Hey, Michael.
I had to get...
Can I mention real quick? So I went to Wrigley Field last year, and Adam, I actually had this happen to me. I want to see the Angels, because I'm a big Angel fan, see the Cubs. I actually had a game get snowed out last season.
Wow.
It's not uncommon now, right?
In April. I'm like in April. I'm like, what's going on here? It's beautiful. All of a sudden, Sunday morning it snows, and I'm born and bred in Southern California, so I was like dying.
Well, we had a saying. We had a saying in Chicago: if you want to see the weather change, stick around for 5 minutes.
Yeah. There you go. I learned that. Learned that now.
So, getting away from the weather in Chicago, yeah, you moved to San Diego, and it was a really big turning point for you in a lot of ways. Did you instantly become a San Diego Padres fan?
No, but I did root for the home team, right? So if you're a displaced Cubs fan in San Diego, and especially during that period of time, you really didn't have much to cheer for other than Tony Gwynn, So I used to love to go to the games, number one, because they were cheap. And they were still playing at Jack Murphy Stadium when I first moved there. And then when they built Petco Park, which I think is a beautiful ballpark, I fell in love with the ballpark. And then, you live in one place for a long enough period of time, you can't help but cheer for them. So I became a pretty fervent Padres fan, I'd say. I had season tickets for 2 seasons with my wife. So that was fun, too.
Yeah, as craft beer fans, the craft beer selection there is wicked awesome. So I don't need a reason to go to Petco. I'll go there on an off day to go back to that park back there. It's just gorgeous. Yeah, and all the breweries around there.
And you pay for that beer.
Oh yeah. Oh, but it is worth it. It is worth it. But you're absolutely right. But I will say this because the reason I say that is because I'm near Dodger Stadium, and Dodger Stadium, you get basically a $17 cup of foam. Yeah. So at least I get what I pay for.
Fair enough.
So Adam, you had a very interesting thing in 2014 where you were going to be the San Diego Padres PA announcer. You were actually in the top 10. Tell me more about how that happened and how you did. Dude,
funny story. So I remember hearing an advertisement on the radio that they were going to be looking for a new voice of Petco Park. I think it was for the 10-year anniversary of the ballpark. And just on a whim, myself and David Marquez, whom we all know, he said, hey, let's do this. Let's go down. It was free auditions. You didn't have to do anything except sit in the ballpark all day long. So what the hell? And I remember there were like 1,200 of us or something like that when we were just sitting there. And I'm thinking, there is no way any of us here have a chance at this. And then slowly but surely I got called back, and then I got called back, and I went back 3 or 4 times. And by the end of that 4th time, they told us, we had made the top 10, and I knew instantly who they were going to hire. The person they did hire was by far the best candidate. The perfect voice, the perfect cadence. He'd worked in AA baseball in New Hampshire. Like, he knew the deal. I was like, this guy's obviously hired. But the wrestling community got behind me, and I think that's what kept me in the running. And without tooting my own horn, toot, I wasn't half bad. So I did work 3 broadcasts, 2 national broadcasts, 1 on ESPN against the Dodgers, which was incredible because I got to sit in those production meetings with Vince Scully and Charlie Steiner, and Dick Enberg was still alive and doing the Padres games at that point. Wow. Fernando de Valenzuela doing the Spanish broadcast. Just an incredible litany of baseball voice royalty and me in the same room. It was hilarious. But what a great experience. And the Padres were first class. They took care of me. Really made it a huge memory. The picture you guys got on the screen right now, that's cool. They sent that to us afterwards just from the press box and whatnot.
Oh, that's killer.
It was awesome. And I often joke, like if I tell my wife, what if I would have got hired for that job? Of course, we only would have worked 81 games a year, but it was decent money. I would have still be in San Diego. Of course, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now, but everything happens for a reason. That is a huge positive chapter in the book of my life.
I can imagine. And did you work with Mark Mudcat Grant?
Of course. Mark Grant. Now, Don Rosillo is the lead play-by-play announcer for the Padres, but he wasn't at that point. But Mud Grant's been on the staff for who knows how long. And, dude, he's a giant. I didn't realize how tall he was until you stand next to him. I think he's like 6'7" and funny as hell.
And I'm going to continue. I'm so glad that you used the word giant, because are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
I was a bat boy for the Phoenix Giants in 1985. Who was on that staff? Mark Mudcat Grant.
Yeah.
Also Ron Renicky, who's now the manager, was the manager of the Brewers, and now the manager of the Red Sox.
That's awesome.
Small world, right?
Michael, don't forget, there's another manager. Matt Williams is now the manager, I believe. Is it the Lotte Giants in the Korean League?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So like crazy how like this all comes around, huh?
Yeah, it's awesome.
So
Hey, so Adam,
I mean, go ahead.
you know, with in your experience with the PA announcer, competition, what are some of the things that kind of stood out for you as far as highlights and going through that process?
I think it's just the process itself was very interesting to me. I liken it now, looking at a wrestling television format versus a baseball television format. It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. So my job would be obviously to announce the batter, any rulings that were made on the field, but also reading a bunch of liners in between innings, whatever, tonight at Petco Park, blah, 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 like all that stuff, the advertisement stuff, who your umpires are. It's telling a story and basically being a narrator for the experience of the fan is what the PA announcer's job is.
Yeah.
And coming from a wrestling promo background, the away team's the heel, right? So you got to use your voice to kind of build hopefully some cheers for the home team. And at the same time, you're kind of subdued when you're announcing, the away batters. So it's kind of like a psychology thing too. Like you'd be working the microphone for wrestling. It was very similar in a lot of ways, obviously very different sport altogether, but how you use your voice and how you tell your story is very similar to me anyway.
And
That's
what
awesome.
did you have to one of the things that you can do, you can't like space out. You can't like look around and do stuff. There's you have to be like, you have to hit your cues too. So that wrestling probably helped you in that sense as well.
Yeah, of course. And I also had a producer in your ear too. So I'd wear an earpiece and, you could see in the picture on your screen, I had a scorecard. So I was scoring the game, obviously not officially, but I was scoring the game as you go, to your point, so you can stay on point. I need to know how many balls and strikes, where the ball was in play last time, where are the runners at now, is there one out, is there two outs, if they turn two, what's my call, just staying ahead of it so that when the play unfolds, you know what the right call is. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're lucky we just get to kick back and drink beer while we watch baseball.
I would have loved to have had a beer during the ball game. They wouldn't let me.
But the fact that you didn't get this really kind of transitioned you into what you're doing now, right?
Well, it certainly closed a chapter because I was all in. If the Padres had offered me the job, that was it. I was not looking for a way out of wrestling. Wouldn't put it that way, but I was definitely at the tail end of things in 2014. And by the end of 2014, I had been done wrestling anyhow. So I was lucky that during that period of time, I was also working at WWE as a guest coach, albeit at the Performance Center. But I had been for about a year going back and forth to Orlando, working with the crew at NXT in its infancy. So I knew that if the baseball thing didn't work out, I had a pretty good opportunity and pretty good foresight into what I'd be doing next. And that's what I naturally transitioned into.
That's amazing. And now you're doing, are you on air now? Are you doing more on air stuff?
When they can't find anybody else, they stick the old scrap daddy out there. Yeah. Last Friday I was on. It's usually in a role when, there are no general managers on Raw and SmackDown for whatever reason now. So when they need someone to make a ruling from the official WWE standpoint, they usually wheel me out there to do it. So that happens here and there.
You're a bit of a ringer when it comes to that. That's awesome.
Well, they need somebody who can talk, and
you're the guy. You're the guy. So one of the questions that we wanted to ask you, have you ever wrestled in a baseball stadium?
Yes, 100%.
Nice.
Tell me about it.
Yuma, I think at that time it was called Sun Devil Stadium. Angelo, you probably can remember if you were there, if you haven't disappeared. Yuma, I wrestled. Kalamazoo, Michigan, I wrestled in that AA ballpark. And then there's one more that I remember in suburban Milwaukee, and I do not remember the town, but Carmine DeSpirito, who ran Mid-American Wrestling in Milwaukee forever, he had a contract with several minor league ballparks during the summer to go, and we'd put 3 or 4 matches on at the end of the game. And those were always fun because they were bought shows and the beer was cold.
Michael, could that be the Milwaukee Milkmen? Because those Milwaukee Milkmen.
What year was that you did that?
That would have been 96.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
wow.
97.
Okay. Because that could even be Beloit. I mean, Beloit's not that far away from
Beloit, right? That's it.
Oh, Beloit. There you go.
Oh, no kidding.
That's it.
Michael, you've been there.
I was just there last year, the Beloit Snappers. Yeah, they have like this big huge park right there, right? Absolutely. That's incredible. Nice call, Kevin. That's why he's a senior research analyst.
Yes, sir.
Right.
I was supposed to be at the game there in 2 weeks. Unfortunately, that's not happening.
Yeah.
What a
Now,
shame.
you wrestled X-Pac on a baseball stadium show. Was that the one in Yuma?
That was in Yuma. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was like 110 degrees that day, and obviously X-Pac, my senior and the senior man in the ring, not wanting to do a whole lot, and me being fat and lazy at 110 degrees, we were going to do as little as possible. Believe you me.
I'm curious if by then, if the Padres are still in Yuma, because that's where the Padres spring training used to be before they moved further out east. And the Yakult Swallows also used that Yuma grounds for their winter training. I was like, oh, yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and was that at the time that X-Pac got injured? Was he injured at that time?
He was injured in a very sensitive place.
Oh, no. That one.
Yeah, in his back door, and I'll leave it at that. But he had to dance around that too, which made for funny stories. I didn't actually believe he was injured until he bent over and showed me.
Oh no!
That's hilarious.
Angelo, was there for that?
No, I was supposed to make that trip, but I got caught up with work. But it sounded like that was a really fun experience and road trip. Not the heat, but
yeah, it was fun. The cool thing about those minor league baseball crowds is that they're captive audiences, and by the time you get to the end of the ball game, whoever's sticking around for the wrestling has had way too many beers in them.
Yeah.
So you're guaranteed a lively crowd. Those were always fun.
Yeah, and
Adam,
I got. Go ahead, Kevin.
Was the ring actually set up on the side, or they set up on the field? How did they do it?
So usually they put the ring in between the mound and second base.
Oh, so they set up after the game. Wow.
After the game,
so they're expecting people to stick around. Okay.
As soon as that third out was done, and it depended on the configuration of the game, because I've also, or the field too, because I've also had it where it's in between home plate and the mound. So,
okay.
Depending how close the people were to the field, but yeah, as soon as the game was over, boom, out went the ring.
Yeah, because Inland Empire out in San Bernardino, they did Lucha Libre night, and they had EWF out there, but they had the ring off to the side by the concession stand. So right when the game ended, it's like, hey, come over here and watch the wrestling. And I'm like, oh, all right, not even on the field.
Yeah, a lot of other minor league teams do that too.
Yeah.
Off to the side like that?
Yeah.
I think it's so they can get going right away. Because not that many people stuck around, maybe a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Yep. So let me get to my deck here. What is your favorite ballpark food and brew, Adam?
Well, boy, I've been lucky to have been to my fair share of major league ballparks. I gotta say I like a Dodger dog. That stands out to me. In terms of brew, whatever's cold and whatever I'm not buying.
You're such a wrestler. That's amazing. So, I know that you have had a lot of matches in your career, but if you had a definitive Adam Pearce match that we should all go watch right now, what's something that you're super proud of?
Who wants to watch my matches? Well, I mean, my personal favorite is one I had with Brent Albright. And I don't know if you guys, Angela, I'm sure you know Brent. You remember Brent.
I know he is. Yeah. I never met him. I know he is.
We had one in New York for Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor 6. It was for the NWA title in the Hammerstein Ballroom. That was one of those matches where even the things you screwed up turned out better than what you had planned anyway. It was just a lot of fun. A crowd with an awesome energy. And it's definitely my favorite. There's, the picture you guys got of me and Cabana there. Anytime I wrestled with Cabana, it was the same kind of thing. We knew each other so well, even before getting into pro wrestling, that we just had a natural chemistry together, and those matches were always fun too. So anything from me and Cabana, or that match from me and Albright in New York, stand out as among my personal favorites.
That's fantastic, and I really enjoyed wrestling you a lot because, in fact, I think the last time we wrestled was at Frankenson's. We literally did not. We just had the finish, and we just went out and just wrestled. And that is the sign of a true professional, that you can just go in there and have a match. And it was fantastic. And that is a sign of a true professional, I guess, in wrestling. So it's like, it was always so much fun wrestling you. And you, I remember even the first time we wrestled, it was in the first round of the PWG tournament. And you did the fist drop off the top because you couldn't, if you went to the top rope, you would have hit your head on the roof, literally.
I remember that Eagle Rock building with the with the mirrors on the side. I remember just posing in the mirrors. I'm like, yeah, look at me.
That's crazy. It's great. So that seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
That's what I was just gonna say. It seems like forever ago. But if I can just wrestler speak for a hot second,
sure.
Dude, calling it on the fly, and you have differing opinions. Is that a good thing? Is that a lazy thing? I'm of the opinion that that's the art. That's what's missing: spontaneity, feeling the room in the moment, changing on a dime. What does the crowd want to see? What are they buying? What are they not buying? That's the art. If you're doing TV, that's a completely different animal. It's impossible to call it on the fly with the different camera angles we have to hit, and what's the story of the match, and the certain shots we need. But in a house show setting, or in, like you're talking about, like we did in those PWG days, or at Frankenson, or even on a WWE house show or live event now, that's the fun stuff, man. Just going out there and being in the environment, and whatever happens. That's what it's all about, my opinion.
100%.
Sounds like you miss it, Adam. By that talk.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, it never leaves your blood. I do not in any way, shape, or form miss taking bumps. But the thing for me is being a producer, doing what I'm doing now. I'm in the ring all the time, showing somebody how to do this, working on the timing of that. A lot of the younger talent now, they get to TV so quick, they're not seasoned in any way. They haven't had years on the independents or in a territory or somewhere to really hone their skills or to learn everything. So you'd be surprised at what things are so brand new to people that are on TV every week. And so that's where where I can get in the ring and go, really? You've never taken an arm drag? Well, here, let me teach you and show you, and I'll take a couple and I'll give you a couple, that kind of thing. Yeah. So I get my wrestling fix. Trust me, I do. Just nobody sees it.
Yeah. And I haven't been in wrestling in quite a long time, but I mean, I still think about it all the time. And like, just even you saying arm drags, I said, there's different forms of arm drags. Yep. So it's like, you can really expand upon it. It's like, that's where the rabbit hole you just kind of get into, and you're just like, okay, enough. Let's go have a beer and watch some baseball.
I'm with you.
So I wanted to close out with something here. So there's been a lot of WWE stars that have thrown out first pitches, been involved with Major League Baseball, as you can see here. A lot of big people here. But when will we see Adam Pearce throwing out a first pitch, or has that happened?
Well, here's the thing. I before to answer it directly, I don't know. I was in talks with some people at the Cubs about doing it, but the reality is the public at large has no idea who Adam Pearce is, so it's not necessarily attractive to a marketing department of a big league team to say, hey, we can get you a WWE producer. What's that? Like, they don't really know what that is. So I just look upon these guys, like I'm looking at the various pitchers now, and I'm very jealous and pissed off at the same time, because I'm telling you, and I've said this, I would go out there and throw a sidearm knuckleball that would hit the plate, and it would be amazing. And they might sign me. So maybe that's it. Maybe they're afraid that I'm go out there and fire.
You know what, Adam? I mean, there's a lot of minor league teams in Florida. You know what I mean? Once that starts back up, there's a whole league of teams. One could be in your neighborhood.
How long did Charlie Huff pitch throwing the knuckler?
That's 100%.
Yep.
100%.
And I can throw it. I'm not blowing smoke. My 12-year-old knows. I hit him with one yesterday that he couldn't have hit if he had a 4-foot wide bat. I'm telling you.
He would be the R.A. Dickey,
What? Exactly. You know how Bob Uecker said to catch the knuckleball, right? Is this try to catch it and let it stop and then go pick it up. That's how you catch a knuckleball.
That's it.
Yeah. So you can throw it. You've been working on it, because they had that movie about the knuckleball. It takes years to perfect.
It might be on Netflix right? I don't know if it's on Netflix, but that's where I watch it. It was featuring like R.A. Dickey. I don't remember who else it featured, but I remember R.A. Dickey specifically.
I throw a couple of different ones too. I throw one that's almost like a full across the 4-seam grip, and I use 2 knuckles. I don't throw 3. I use 2, or I can dig my fingernails in the horseshoe too and throw the traditional knuckleball. Right. But I'm telling you, the weird action that the 4-seam, it jumps more horizontal. Dude, trust me, I've been working on it. I've been doing knuckleball.
He's ready.
My little league teams for 5 years, and they always get mad.
Well, we're putting it. Go ahead, Angelo.
Yeah, so on the topic, you talk about coaching your son's little league, and obviously for me as well, helping out coaching my oldest son's little league team, kind of reignited and renewed my passion for the game, at its core, right? So talk to us about the experience that you've had with the wonderful opportunity you've had to coach your son's little league team.
Dude, for me and for him, and what you just said is exactly right in terms of reigniting a passion for the game. I've always loved baseball like you guys have since I was a little kid. I played Little League. I played in high school, and I've always watched it, and I've always been a homer for the Cubs and taking the train down to Wrigley or hopping in a car and parking in Wrigleyville, the whole experience. I even as a kid, I'd go to Milwaukee when they were still playing at County Stadium because the bleacher tickets were only $4.
Wow.
So it was way cheaper to go to Milwaukee and see the horrible Brewers outside of 82 when they went to the World Series. It was way cheaper to go see a Brewer game. All that notwithstanding, my son, when he was born, you do the dad things. You buy the Fisher-Price plastic bat and the ball, and you're in the backyard when you're trying to figure out how to play catch. And he picked it up and he naturally swing. He's a right-handed. He's a catcher predominantly, right-handed thrower, but he bats left-handed. And my wife thought you did that on purpose. No, the kid picked up the bat and he naturally put it on that shoulder, and that's his natural. He's that lefty swing. So to watch him fall in love with the game is what made me fall in love with the game. Yeah. And it took a while. You know how it is. Watching a baseball game on TV sometimes can be tedious, especially for a very young child. Yeah. But now he's 12. Now he understands nuance of the game. He's paying attention to the pitching matchups because as a catcher, he understands how the game works through the guy behind the plate. And he's still having fun, man. So I just live through him. It's awesome.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, how baseball doesn't have a youth movement as far as kids that love the game. So and they usually live through guys like us. We're keeping the game alive through our sons. My son's 18. He could care less about baseball. But it's not a bad thing because he's into other things. So sure. But he knows that I love it and he'll go with me anytime we want to go. But to have someone that young and being involved in it, but actually developing within it is really special.
That's so much fun too, and that's the one of the hardest parts for me. I think it's the pandemic and everything that's going on. It's kind of taken everything away from people. Yeah. I'm having a harder time with the lack of Little League baseball than I think he is, just because kids are so resilient, right? He just moved on to the next thing, and he was still in school, which was crazy because that was all online too, and I'd never dealt with that. Now here I am trying to teach 6th grade math. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? It's just such a different world, but and my daughter, they took everything in stride, and I just want that to come back. I think I want baseball back more for me to watch him go through it than for any other reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't get these years back too. That's the whole thing. He could just move on to something else, and it's unfortunately, and that's what we were talking about this in other episodes. It's that's why a strike would really kill it. The fact that people can't watch it in their own market is going to kill it. So baseball has a lot on the line. They had a lot on the line before this, but now even more. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and who knows where they're going to land. I hope that they end up playing here, but they're saying by the end of July, I hope, but who knows?
Yeah. My unfortunate prediction is there's not going to be any baseball this year, but that's what it is. In college baseball, people have lost their whole years. Minor leaguers have lost a year, so it's crazy all over. But did you guys have any other questions that you want to ask before we turn Adam loose so we can get back to his life?
No, I'm good.
I'm good. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you so much. And
thank you,
I wanted
Adam.
to show this special picture. Here's Adam doing his backing vocals, and me taking one of the pile drivers. So, it's not.
Wait a minute. We don't really have any proof that that's me giving you the pile driver, because your ass is in whoever's face that is.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
That was kind of my gimmick, to put my ass in people's faces right there.
That's fair.
Oh no.
So Adam, I saw.
There you go.
I saw that you. Is this shirt still for sale? Can you get this shirt? This is one of the most brilliant shirts I've ever seen.
That.
Yeah, you can get that for sale, but I do have to point out, you've got an Instagram link up on this thing. I don't have an Instagram. I know that handle because I've seen it. That is a complete imposter.
Oh, I'm glad we called him out.
Fake news.
Fake news. Right on. So do not go to that Instagram. You don't have an Instagram.
No Instagram. I'm too lazy.
All right. But you're pretty active. You're pretty active on your Twitter and Facebook, no?
Yeah, I kind of pump out the same stuff on both of the platforms. You know, it's it almost, and I don't know how you guys feel, but I almost feel like social media now is almost as divisive as anything else. You know, it's like it's a turnoff more than anything else. And I don't know, maybe I'm just projecting negativity because that's what's all around us at the moment. But it seems like you can't go anywhere without seeing something bad, and a lot of times those social media things, they'll get you. So you got to be careful how you use it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did have one question. We want to put a question in from one of our viewers.
Sure.
You can. It's pretty long, but if you want to read it, can you read the question, or do you want me to read it?
Read it for me, because I can see I can only see the line of it.
Adam, as a WWE producer, what do you think of the talent the WWE have? Popular channels here on YouTube: Xavier Woods, Up, Down, Asuka, Kana-chan. So like more of the YouTube content.
Right.
A lot of the WWE stars have their own channels.
They do.
So I've noticed that as well. I didn't know if they were approved or they're encouraged to do it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the company doesn't limit, as long as you're not doing anything outlandish or anything stupid, I guess would be the way to coin it. They're all for everyone expressing their own creativity, and a lot of the guys do. Xavier's Up, Down, which is video gaming predominantly. It's hugely popular.
Yeah.
And I've been fortunate enough. Sometimes I'll stick my head in the room when they're recording that stuff, and when they're playing Madden or something like that, I'll poke my head around the corner and just take a look at it. But yeah, no, the company, they're all about things like that. So long as it's putting positivity out there, I think is the main thing. The mantra of WWE, as simple as it is to put smiles on faces. That's it. So if it falls into that category, the company's cool with it.
Well, Adam, it's been an absolute pleasure. Yep. It's been a long time since I've seen you. Actually, the last time I saw you, we were at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and you were holding my disco ball over me while we were in the street. So, street to Hollywood. So I wanted to have a picture of that, and I couldn't find it. But you're an amazing guy. You've always been so nurturing, and I can't wait to come to Florida and have a beer and enjoy some baseball with you.
Brother,
I'm sure we all are.
Holler at me if you guys are ever down right around the Orlando area. I'm a little bit out of town, but close enough to get in trouble. So let me know when you're coming, and we'll go do just that.
Awesome.
Adam,
thank you so much.
You buy beer, all right? Make sure you buy beer.
Yeah. At least I can write it off.
There you go.
It's part of my business.
That's right.
Thank you, Adam. It's been a pleasure. Take care.
Take care, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See ya.
All right. So, let's see here. There's Adam. So thanks so much. I mean, we're gonna continue with the show. Colin actually thanked for answering the question. Which thank you for asking the question. So we're gonna jump into this. This is something I've been waiting for, and what an awesome talk. Adam is one of our good friends, but boy, he's the best, and I really appreciate him coming on. So I'm gonna start this out. Angelo, what are you drinking tonight?
So the question should really be, what have you been drinking?
Yeah,
because I'm I think I'm now 3
I'm
in. but I'm drinking the Firestone Brewing Co. Fly Jack. This is the hazy India Pale Ale. They're low calorie, carb conscious beer. I came across this during a grocery trip last week, seeking a replacement because my wife really likes the Blue Moon Light Sky beer, and they didn't have any in stock. So came across this, and this one is 4.0 ABV with the 25 IBU. So those of you guys that know, a little bit right outside my IBU wheelhouse, but it's very crisp, very refreshing. And definitely, and it's kind of a citrus style beer, and really like it. And definitely check it out if you're into the lighter stuff. I shared last week. My wife and I are on the keto diet, so this is 5 gram net carb per can. So if you're carb conscious, only 96 calories, then you'll be in good shape. So really good.
So Angelo, does she
Angelo.
like it though? That's the more important question. Does she like it?
She did like it. So we
Good.
actually had one before we jumped on the pod, and she said it tasted very similar to the Light Sky. And I think she actually kind of preferred this a little bit more. So
I never even heard of the Light Sky. So cool. Good for that.
Yeah, that's a good find, Angelo. That's really great. And I can't wait to be on the lookout for that myself. So, Kevin, what have you been drinking?
Oh, what have I been drinking? So I knew this was out there, and there it is. So AleSmith has made a hazy version in Utah Beer and Baseball. Here it is, the essential one. They originally made the 394 Pale Ale in conjunction with Tony Gwynn, and now they've made a hazy version of it. And I made sure to pour it out. I mean, you can kind of see it. It's interesting to have a pale ale that is hazy, because usually if you have something hazy, it's going to be an IPA. But man, I've been enjoying this. This is good stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to find it as well, and it's kind of hard to find. So it was cool that you found it.
So the story, what I heard was they were planning on releasing a bunch of this stuff on draft, and because of the quarantine, they couldn't really release it on draft.
wow.
So they had to make a can run of it, and they only had so much canning available at that time, and it sold out pretty much immediately. And now this is the second real run of it, and I went to the Total Wine by me a couple days ago, so I was like, I need to have this for the show, you know.
Well, you got to it first, so I'm super jealous. So, I have not been drinking because I've been running the controls back here.
Going, come on, I know you're a host.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
You're not drinking too.
So this is from Belching Beaver in San Diego. It is the Phantom Bride IPA. It is in conjunction with the Deftones, which is is a band. And I actually know of the Deftones. Are you guys aware of the Deftones at all?
I am.
I saw the Deftones back in like the late '90s. Pretty much, I guess at their original peak. Because they're from Waunsee, Sacramento, correct?
Yep.
Oh, potentially, yeah. Oh, that's okay. And then
I'm
Angelo's from right. Yeah. So Angelo's area.
Yep.
So the reason why I know the Deftones is I really like the Deftones a lot, and I grew up in Phoenix. So when I was at the record store, I knew of this band a lot. They were actually going to open for Ozzy, and it was going to be the first time I saw Ozzy, but Ozzy got sick. So I did not see the Deftones or Ozzy. So that was my only chance. So I'm going to open this up. It's an IPA, 7%.
Ooh, there you
go.
7.1 alcohol. It's probably 60 or 70 IBU, so a little bit hoppy. But yeah, Matt Sertucci said that he's had that 394 beer. So so but I actually have the glass here.
Yeah. I believe AleSmith, if they're not open, they're going to be open very soon. It's a very large space down there in San Diego. Michael and I got to go there, I want to say 2 years ago. And if you ever get a chance to go and you're a baseball fan, please do so, because there's a Tony Gwynn museum in there.
Oh, wow.
It's really cool.
For free too. It's not you don't have to pay anything. But I don't think you can take pictures, although I've seen people take picures and stuff like that. but yeah, it's really worth it. And I believe it just opened. They just reopened. So definitely make it down there.
Right on.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into it. This week in baseball history. After 22 seasons of compiling can't-miss Hall of Fame statistics, Mariners outfielder Ken Griffey Jr. unexpectedly issues a statement through the team announcing that he has decided to retire. And his credentials are great. The unfortunate part of this story that I remember, and I actually looked it up, are you guys aware of what happened? So this would have been June 2nd, 2010. Do you know what happened about a month prior to this? Do you have any knowledge of it?
No, not that I recall.
Okay. So. Unfortunately, Ken Griffey was called to pinch hit, but he was not on the bench. He was actually in the clubhouse sleeping.
Oh,
wow.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
A fact that no one, like everybody tried to cover for him, but Ken Griffey did not deny. And the manager, Don Wakamatsu, actually tried to cover for him as well. And actually, the Mariners were having a miserable season, so that had happened. So I remember him sleeping at the end. Yeah, it was kind of unfortunate. So it's like I almost saw the end coming. But the other one is this unfortunate incident was Armando Galarraga's imperfect hitter. Yeah, and Jim Joyce calling Jason Donald safe at first when he was clearly out.
What year is it? Because you put the same date and year. Is it actually
exactly the same day?
Yep.
Okay, wow.
Same day, same year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Same day.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty interesting, and we talked last week the baseball relinquiry about the Shrine of Eternals, and Jim Joyce is actually a candidate. Yeah. So this is one thing I wanted to throw out really quickly to you guys. One of the things I love about baseball is it's imperfect. So when a player makes an error, he's charged with an error, and that's the ruling. I think that umpires make errors too. I mean, one of my famous ones that I grew up with is in '85, Don Denkinger in Game 6 of the World Series against the Cardinals and Royals. That changed the series, or did it? The Cardinals basically lost it. They had plenty of chances to win it, but
wow.
Right, exactly. So, but what I'm saying is that baseball is imperfect, and I think that that's what I love about baseball is that even it's still a judgment call, and umpires can make mistakes just as much as players. Thoughts?
Real quick, can I ask, was instant replay not?
It was not.
This been overturned if there was.
This would have been overturned easily.
Yeah. Okay. God, that's crazy. Because those are a couple big football plays that happened. And then all of a sudden, because of that, more or less, instant replay was more or less brought back or made it like more impactful upon the game. There's like a Vinny Testaverde play where he clearly got a touchdown. They didn't call it that. Yeah. And then the next season, like everything changed in football.
Right.
Sorry, talk football on the baseball podcast. Sorry.
Well, Jim Joyce was pretty stand up and admitted his mistake and actually would talk to the media afterwards. Now you don't get that from basketball. You don't get that a lot from NFL.
It sounds like Galarraga forgave him from what I read about Jim Joyce. About it. And when we were looking at the baseball relinquiry ballot, I'm like, okay, well at least it seems like they came together in this, and hopefully they were able to cope with the situation and make the best of it.
Yeah, I mean, people forgave Bill Buckner, later on. And it's like, that's part of the game. The errors are part of the game. So, Angelo, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you guys, and I think even Jim Joyce, came to admit that he was wrong.
Oh yeah.
Because of that admission. I really think that there could be something that they can do to kind of go back and rectify it. But I mean, I think in the eyes of myself and in the eyes of many others, that was a perfect game, right? So, beyond a shadow of a doubt. And again, yeah, it's in the moment, or he's making that call. But I think the thing that what it says in right there in the text is he emphatically called him safe, right? Where I think in that situation, in that instance, go to your counterpart, right?
Yep.
Go to your counterpart and see and confer with the group to make the right call.
Yep.
Right. Would it have had an impact on the game? No, it wouldn't have had an impact on the result or the outcome of the game. But in something that happens so rare like that, I can definitely see, you see it in that picture there, and if you watch the footage, I think John Boy Media did a recent post about it, and you can just see the look on Galarraga's face, just like, dude, all right, like almost a smirk, like, yeah, of course, you call him safe. So, but it is what it is. But yeah, if there's like you said, if there's errors on the part of a player, there should be errors on the part of the umpires as well, because we're all human, right?
Yeah.
But I think he's probably the only human on the planet that would have called him safe.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's unfortunate, but again, a part of the game, and so. But I'm glad that they're trying to make things right. But even that kind of makes things complicated as well. So so let's do. We're gonna do just 2 rounds of Pack Wars today. As always, we get all of our baseball cards at Hall of Fame Baseball Cards in Arcadia, California. So.
Here are
the rules. You open your pack, a relic card, you can knock out one participant. If you have an autograph card, that knocks out both participants. After all packs are opened, high numbered card wins. And I added this because it was a unwritten rule.
Yes.
Collectively, we drink when we get a Brewer's card.
Brewers. I like that.
Skip the next one. Skip the next one.
Well, I will say the All Angels podcast says Armando is made more famous than he had a perfect game. That's a great point, and we're still talking about it to this day, right? Because perfect games, we probably can't even name all the perfect games.
You can definitely say that for Jim Joyce.
Oh, totally. We knew his name immediately. So the part that everybody's trying to avoid is the standings.
Not me.
Well, you know what? You're in second place statistically.
Oh, wait, what?
Yes, our guests actually have a 5-3 record, but you can actually add on here. I have a miserable record, and Angelo. This would be a monumental podcast if you win both of these right here. So
I agree.
I agree. All right. So Angelo, you go first. You pick the packs.
All right, we'll start with opening day.
All right.
If I can
I
get
to
this
drink
open.
my beer. I'm so happy.
Oh, Angelo and I already almost done our second one by now.
This is my fourth one, actually. full disclosure.
All right.
For those counting.
Yep.
Jock Peterson, Kyle Lewis, Carlos Correa,
There you go.
Brad Hand, Franmil Reyes, Charlie Blackman, and my son will be super stoked to get the MLB sticker collection insert.
All right.
Nice.
Pete Alonso.
That's not the base one that would have won you the game right there.
Well, in the 2020.
Yeah, that's
the
this one,
2020,
right? Oh, sorry, I'm not jinxing you.
I already had that kill card. That's the kill card in the high numbered game. Yes.
The kill card.
Kill
That's
card.
right.
Yes, sir.
All right, Kevin, go.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Kevin, you're up.
Okay, my next. All right. There. Let's see. I still haven't got any of those stickers, by the way. Let's see here. Get your beer ready for Mr. Hader. Mr. Hader. Drink.
Josh Hader. Salud.
Come by. Oh, speaking of come by, Tanaka Masahiro.
There you go.
That's it.
Oh, David Dahl. I got him last week.
How funny.
Not that David Dahl.
Make sure my Wi-Fi is still on.
I know. Don't get knocked out. Zach, please, Zach, any relation to Dan from the Brewers? I want to tie it back to the Brewers. I don't know if it's any relation. Who knows? James Paxton. Sorry, I'm like, ooh. Try to do this quick here.
Straight.
Eduardo Escobar.
There you go.
And let me see what this is. Oh, Spring has Sprung. Willie Mays.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, cool.
We've only seen current
Some kind of
in the
insert.
Spring and Sprung series. Yeah.
I'm happy to have that. I'll get my high number ready for
All
you,
right.
so I can
Got
win
it.
this round. Oops, what?
AJ Puck. Miguel Cabrera.
That's Max.
Tommy Edman. Dustin May.
Wow, that hair.
Sonny Gray. I know. So awesome. Kevin Biggio. And the Minnesota Twins opening day.
Awesome.
All right. Angelo, what is your high card?
Hopefully, Brad hands me a victory with 195.
Ooh, that's wow. It might happen because mine, Tanaka Masahiro, is 177. So I'm not a winner here. Uh-oh.
Pause.
Wait, Michael, did we lose you? You froze.
We have a winner in Angelo Trinidad.
Yay! Oh man, the comeback's on. The comeback trail is gonna be like the '78 Yankees.
That's called TV, folks. We had to make it dramatic. Well done. Hey,
Thank you, Brad.
salud.
Yes,
Yeah, Brad Hand. He was good for my fantasy team last year. Nice way to go.
Until you didn't win, then neither did I. So,
That's true.
all right,
That's
Angelo,
true.
you're up.
All right,
again.
Angelo, you get to start it off.
2020.
All right, the hot streak. Come on. Now watch
All
blow
right.
out, right, and knock us both out
Carlos Correa.
again.
Yep. Brian Abreu. Miguel Cabrera. Tyler Alexander. I got Astro, Tiger. That's
I'm
pretty
like,
fun.
whoa.
Dansby Swanson.
Come on, I'm one of the brave.
Seth Brown. Kenley Jensen. Masahiro Tanaka.
There you go.
Ian Desmond. Luis Castillo. Yolmer Sanchez. This is a chrome insert Buster Posey.
Nice.
Nice.
Very cool.
You guys can
Nice.
definitely tell the difference in the card there.
Yeah, I don't think we got any of those, have we? That's good.
I can't remember if it was in this set or the opening day set, but I think one
Right.
of us had got one.
Okay.
Nick Markakis, and Luke Volt.
All right.
Hi, Kevin, go for it.
All right, let's see what I got here. Mhm. All right, we got Bobby Bradley, Andrew Heaney from our Los Angeles Angels to Anaheim, AJ Puck on the Athletics. Oh no, Sandy Alcantara from the Marlins. Gavin Lukes. Ryan Yarbrough. Lewis Brinson. Wow, I'm getting some Marlins here. I keep seeing the M, and I'm like, nope, not that M. Alex Young. Matt Carpenter. Sorry, from your Cardinals, Michael. Craig Kimbrell from Adam Pearce's Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
Oh, get your beers ready, Milwaukee Brewers team card. Woo!
Oh, team card. Man, we should do
team
beer
card.
bongs when we have the
There you
team
go.
card.
All right, that was good. Oh, let's
So
see
Colin
here.
Duncan.
I don't know
Colin
this card.
Duncan says that.
Oh,
I
nephew.
think so.
Okay, thank you. Because I was like,
Potentially.
well, that being a common name. So thank you for
We'll
that. I have a decade best from 2010s of the Kansas City Royals.
Oh,
Don't
that's
get me
cool.
wrong, the Royals in the 2010s. That's a sore subject. Being an Angel fan, let me tell you. Christian Vasquez from the the Red Sox. I'm not going to even try to say that right. And Blake Trennan from the Athletics.
All right. So I'm
What
going
do you got,
to
Michael?
this. All right. Julio Teheran. Is he he's an Angel now?
Yes, sir,
Yeah,
he is.
he is.
Yeah.
If we ever play baseball again, yes, sir.
DJ LeMahieu. All Rise. Aaron Judge. For Ed out there. Ed is watching us. Say hello to Ed.
Ooh. Okay.
Jose Urena. Randy Arozarena. I think that's it. Eric Fetty. Tyler O'Neill. Brandon Crawford.
There you go. Good to know.
Austin Meadows. The New York Yankees.
That again,
about that. Oh, right, and then St. Louis Cardinals right behind it.
Oh, wow.
For you,
awesome.
there you go.
So the team that's won the most World Series and the team's won the second most. What do you guys think about that? Kel Ripken Jr.
Oh, nice. We didn't get any of those today.
Yeah, and that's the insert. Yeah, that's one of the inserts.
Very good.
And Christian Stewart and Jose Urquidy, who actually I saw pitch in Round Rock.
Oh, there you go.
All right. So, Angelo, what is your high card?
So nobody got the kill card, so I know I won already. Back to back. Don't call it a comeback. Carlos Correa, 349.
Whoa! This is unprecedented. Literally unprecedented.
Literally.
And I was trying to remember if it was 300 or 350, so I got
It's 350.
excited about my card, and I'm like, oh, when you said that, because I have a 292 Gavin Lux.
Wow, that makes me the big loser at 270. Angelo Trinidad, you've won 2 in a row.
The 1988 Orioles are on the board.
Hilarious.
I'm back in it.
That is
Last
awesome.
time our team started so that badly was the 88 Orioles.
You know it's
They're
because
really
it's because you booked Adam Pearce that we
Yeah.
Maybe the baseball card gods were on my side tonight.
100%.
You really have to guess for us more often if you want to win this.
But this is
100%.
but this Brad Hand though, I'm gonna frame this and put this in my office like if it was my first dollar sold in
Angelo, don't you want to do another round?
No.
Try to get you to 418. Come on.
The All Angels podcast says Angelo is on fire. It must be because you were on the podcast. Yes,
Exactly.
we did the All Angels podcast, which will be coming out next week. So we'll promote that on our social media. Definitely want to give a shout out to them. But yeah, Angelo and Kevin were tremendous on that. So that was a lot of fun. So
it was great talking to Daniel. Daniel, we chatted for a while about everything. Beer and baseball is a good time.
Yeah, those are good guys over there. So we're super happy to be connected to them. All right, so I can't wait to update these standings and get back in the win column. You blew it, Kevin. All right, so we're gonna end with trivia tonight.
All right.
We definitely want to get everybody's involvement out there. That's in the comments. So let's test your knowledge of America's pastime. The fastball of Amos Russi was so devastating that the pitching mound was moved back in 1893 to 60 feet 6 inches, what it is today. What was the previous distance?
I'm thinking like one of these days I'm gonna get one of these questions and now I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go D 57 feet.
57 feet for Angelo.
I'll
Anybody
say
in the
50. I'll say 50. That's a nice round number.
Okay.
Anyone else? Help.
Anyone else in the comments?
Help.
My buddy Kobe Archer says 2 feet, which is well, yeah, he said 2 feet, but 2 feet, of course.
2 feet, yes.
Yes.
That's like the pitch machine in like Little League, you know, or T-ball.
So Colin Duncan says B.
All right.
Ed says A.
Oh wow, we're crossing the whole spectrum here.
Yeah. Matt Massingham says D, and also a kudos to
Angelo
you.
Fire. Ride the Angelo train.
You're my boy, Matt. You're my boy.
And the answer is C, 50
Yay!
feet.
Good job, Kevin.
Kevin.
Good round number. Good round number.
Kevin coming strong. And, so that, I mean, honestly, if I started baseball, I would go with, a number like that. That seems like a good number to go with. 50 feet. Makes sense.
Like in Little League, like base pass, the bases will usually be like 50 or it's usually like 55, 60 or 60. It's even numbers in my
I think it's 60. So it's not 90, it's 60, right?
Yeah.
So a third of it, or I don't. I'm terrible.
Two-thirds.
I use math every
Two-thirds.
day, and I suck at math.
Good round number.
Two-thirds.
Two-thirds. There you go. All right. Question number 2. Thanks for joining everybody in the comments.
Although no one picked me.
That's true. Name the only right-handed pitcher to hit 2 home runs in the World Series in his career. A, Don Drysdale. B, Blue Moon Odom. C, Bob Gibson. D, Catfish Hunter. And while you guys are thinking about it, I'd like to give a shout out to Elijah Smith, who likes my Myrtle Beach Pelicans hat.
Oh, nice.
Cubs affiliate. I did that for Adam. He lives right near the stadium, so when I come out there, I'd love to come see you.
I'm gonna go with A, Don Drysdale.
Ooh, can you tell me why?
Merely a guess. no reason.
Total guess?
Yeah, total guess.
Total guess.
Total guess.
Kobe Archer says D. Kevin, what do you say?
I'm
All
trying
Angels
to think-
Podcast says B.
I'm
That's
trying to just be kind of logical, thinking who had been in the most World Series out of these guys, which would make me think Catfish Hunter's the answer because he would have been in multiple World Series between the A's and the Yankees. So I'm going to go with that because he'd been more World Series probably than Bob Gibson, Blue Moon Odom, or Don Drysdale. I'm going to go Catfish.
And Kobe Archer says go Catfish. Same as you, so he's on your side. Robert Reimer says
I like
B.
Blue Moon Odom and all, but yeah. I got some support here.
And
No love for your Bob Gibson. Sorry, Michael.
Matt Massingham says C.
Oh, there you go. Now you got some love for Bob Gibson.
All right. And the answer is San Luis.
wow.
Bob Gibson. He actually hit home runs in 67 and 68.
So 67 against the Red Sox, 68 against the Tigers. All right.
Yeah, and he pitched like an incredible game too that Game 7. So,
You homer. You're a homer.
2 home runs, and he's a Harlem
You're a
Globetrotter.
homer.
Yep.
And as if you watched our episode before, you learned that was a Harlem Globetrotter. And okay, so this goes back to the thing we were talking about before about the 60 feet 6 inches. So during this time when he hit these home runs, he was so dominant that they actually lowered the mound as well because of him. So we had the guy that they changed because he had too much of a fastball, and a guy because he was too dominant. They actually lowered the mound for him. So
He was incredible. Those few years, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Makes you forget that guy in 68 got 30 wins. Dave McClain got 30 wins in 68. And it's like, oh, yeah, Bob Gibson, You don't think about McClain, unfortunately.
Well, that is the show we have for you today. It's been an incredible show. We were so happy to have Adam Pearce from WWE Entertainment and Kevin Lyon, Angelo Trinidad. Do you have anything to plug or tell everybody, tell our crowd?
All right. Well, as usual, I usually mention I'm on Instagram and Twitter. Lock and Loll. That's LOKNLOLL. Just post whatever I'm getting into because trying new beers and just trying to get out and get back to normalcy, whatever that's going to be nowadays. See how that goes and support your local brewery, as I say every week.
Awesome, Angelo.
Yeah, not a heavy social media presence, so just follow all the outlets here on Beer Baseball Blog. I did finally get a shipping notification from Homage or homage, however you want to pronounce it. And I'll be filming an unboxing that hopefully we'll be able to use as some additional content. So be on the lookout for that. And thank you again to Adam for being a phenomenal guest. Appreciate you jumping on and hanging out and spending some time with us. And I know we didn't cover news this week, but big shout out to David Price, who has not even played a game for the Dodgers yet, but out of his own pocket, is going to be giving $1,000 to everybody in the Dodgers minor league system. So again, in times like these, it's really great to see some really great news like that. So big shout out, David Price. And, and again, I mean, he hasn't even suited up for the Dodgers one game yet. And a gesture like that is going to be remembered for a long time. So thank you.
100%
Michael,
agree. Yes.
Real quick, because you mentioned it, but I want to bring it up again. If you're an Angels fan, especially, look up the All Angels podcast. I'm subscribed on YouTube myself. They're part of Halo Haven. Look them up on Instagram and I believe Twitter as well. We're going to be guests on the show on the All Angels podcast next week. If you're a fan of us, be sure to listen to that, please.
Yeah, they're tremendous. They do a lot of fun stuff. I've always enjoyed my collaborations with them. We actually, if you go through the archives of my videos on the Beer Baseball blog on YouTube, we have an interview with them. I did it from spring training. They're super great guys. They're super baseball nerds like we are. They love craft beer. And so we cannot do anything but support them 100%. Please go check them out. Halo Haven and All Angels podcast. It has been tremendous. Thank you so much for making all of this possible. You out there, thank you for contributing in the comments. We will see you next week on Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We won't see you at the brewery. We won't see you at the stadium. We hope to soon. But take care, and we love you out there. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.